Hello viewer, hello, and welcome on to this, it is basically meant to belt down with rain very shortly, but while it isn't, we are in the summer house, getting a little bit of sun. Okay, so the theme of today's video is to do with, are Jehovah's Witnesses and carting the worst, most ineffectual method of warning of all time? Now, the reason why I say that is because I've recently seen a whole plethora of carters out there. I really have. And they really, well, begin to annoy me now. I was in Seville in April, and on the same day, there were two groups of them. The first group, it was long down this line in this park, and as I was walking down with my wife, I just went, oh my God, there's Jehovah's Witnesses. And I had on my phone, which I still have on my phone, pictures, stills from the from Bottlegate of you know, our good friend from the governing body stocking up for his Great Tribulation single expensive malt whiskey. And I went up to them because they weren't talking to anybody. I went up to them and said, who's this here? Who's that there? And they looked, three of them, three girls, no. And then all of a sudden went, oh, it's brother Tony Morris. It's brother Tony Morris. And then I explained to them that while they were out, while they were at the meeting a few Sundays ago, that Tony was 26 miles away from the headquarters, stocking up on booze. And they looked confused, and I walked away and left them to it. A bit later on, we're down by this roundabout, having a beer. Flamenco dancers. A flamenco dancer was there, a guy playing the guitar. Then the next thing is, I just looked over and went, oh my God, there's Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, there was two couples, Spanish, and they were just watching the flamenco dancer. So, as we were heading that way, I thought I'd just engage with them, but their English was very poor, but same thing, who's that? Who's that on that there? No. Ah, Tony Morris, straight away. And I did this. It says, well, so when you're at the meeting on a Sunday morning, he's like this, stocking up. Left them again confused. And then I was in London 2 weeks ago. You come out of Westminster Station. There's two exits, one in the corner, one which faces well, they call it Big Ben, but Big Ben's the name of the bell. And as I came out, there they were again, there, the carters. And I said the same thing. Again, they were not speaking to anyone. I says, who's that? No. It's a couple. No. Have a look again. It's brother Tony Morris. Same thing. Yeah, do you realise that you blah 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 blah. Anyway, I then thought, and as we were talking, their stand just says jw.org. Doesn't say Jehovah's Witnesses. And round about that area of London, there are protesters who are there all the time, right outside the Houses of Parliament. There are anti-Brexit supporters who are there all the time, and Brexit supporters right close to each other. And anybody could think that maybe jw.org was another political movement, maybe anti-Brexit or pro-Brexit. Who really cares? And obviously they're not. So, and as all these people were walking past us, I said to the guy, I said, look, see all these people walking past us right now. You believe at Armageddon that they're going to die, and yet you're standing here, not talking to anyone. And he says, well, we still do engage in the preaching work. And I says, yeah, but you're here right now and people are walking past you and you're not warning them of what's imminently going to happen. And he says, well, we've all got different methods, haven't we? And I just knew I was wasting my time, you know, completely, utterly brainwashed. And I left him to it. And I went away really annoyed, because lots of different people contact me and send me pictures where they spot more Carters. And it's the same thing. They're on the phone, they're talking to each other, but they're not actually giving anybody the warning message. Now, I'll go back to the late 80s, 84, 85, 86, 87 and 88. Round about that time, if you're in the organisation, you truly believed that Armageddon was utterly imminent. Now, why do I say that? Well, the Watchtower come out saying 1914, this generation will by no means pass away. That was the message that we were giving out at the time. We were doing 70 years from 1914, because 70 years is a big time specific in the Bible. That 70 years, 1914, 1984. Then 1986 was announced as the International Year of Peace. Straight away, that's the UN. You know, as soon as he announced peace and security, instantly destruction. 1988 would be 70 years from 1918. Really thought it was imminent. But bizarrely, at that time, even though we thought, and I was pioneering at that time, even though we thought that Armageddon was imminent, and we truly believed that, and everybody believed that, even though we thought that, when I think back now, and even though we weren't carting, our message was so ambiguous, it was so shaded, it was so covered up, that I feel embarrassed if I really thought that what I was trying to do was save people's lives, what I was trying to give this warning message. For instance, we had magazine routes, regular magazine routes. Lots of the pioneers had them, and literally every 2 weeks you go to them and just go, it's an interesting article here about the orangutan in Bolivia, the Botswana bats, you know, how to cook a good roast dinner, just in anything but everything in it, but actually get to say to people the whole point of us being there. Now, when I say that, the whole point of us being there, let's not mince any words here. This is the main doctrine of Jehovah's Witnesses. The main doctrine of Jehovah's Witnesses isn't about orangutans or anything else. It's about Armageddon. Because Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Armageddon is going to change their lives and the lives of, well, end the lives of billions. It'll change their life and end the lives of, it'll change the life of millions and end the lives of billions. So, quote me on that one. And that's what they believe. They believe that Armageddon will stop them being sick, growing old and die, having to live in shitty places, do shitty jobs. You know what I mean? You can understand why. But the end of the day is, if you went up to your average punter in the street who's heard of Jehovah's Witnesses and may have seen them on the doors, may have even taken literature, may have seen the Carters, if you ask them what's the principal core belief of a Jehovah's Witness, the organisation, they would say to you, they're the ones who believe that you shouldn't take blood. They're the ones who don't believe in Christmas, in birthdays. They're the ones who they have to give 10% of their wages to. They're getting confused. None of them, and I repeat, none of them would say to you, they're the ones who believe that imminently there is going to be a spectacular slaughter on this earth. And billions of people are going to die, and die horribly, you know, bodies popping open like a burning hot dog. And then the only survivors are going to be Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what they believe. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that. Now, the thing is about it is, When it comes to, like I said, the Carters quite close to the anti-Brexit and the Brexit people, it's pretty obvious what those people stand for. It's not ambiguous at all. It's not hidden under anything. It's straight away. One group are saying that we should leave Europe, and the other group is saying that we should stay in Europe. We have the SNP in Scotland. They believe that we should be in Scotland, an independent country, and that we should stay in Europe. But that's their core main belief. But underneath that is a whole host of other policies that they have, because they still have to get on with governing the country when it comes to everything from police force to taxes to, you know, whatever's been devolved to them. They will try to ensure that, you know, there's less homelessness, blah, 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 blah. You name it, from the top to the bottom, they have to deal with governing. But the end of the day is, their main core belief is independence for Scotland, staying in Europe. And then you get the Brexit party in England, bits of Scotland where it's obvious. There's no real policies, but there just is. They stand for exiting Europe. So why is it, if you could ask your average punter and say, what do the Brexit party believe? What do the SNP believe? When the SNP have been going for a number of years, why, when you say to them, what do Jehovah's Witnesses believe, that their main core belief doesn't come through? This is why I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that during those times of 84 to 88, when we thought Armageddon was imminent, that we were still going around people's doors with the magazines, doing your magazine route. Instead of saying to people, oh, by the way, I may not be, you may not be here in 2 weeks when the magazines come up next, because you may have been put to death by God, because you haven't become a Jehovah's Witness. And when we're flogging books on your youth getting the best out of it, your family life getting the best out of it, sorry, you can't have a youth and you can't have a family life if your family have been wiped out, or if you've been wiped out by Armageddon. In other words, sorry, the best way to get something out of your youth is to survive Armageddon. The best way to get something out of your family life is you and your family to survive Armageddon. So why are we blurring the issues here? Why did we do that? Why did we think that was an acceptable method of warning people of their imminent death and destruction of them, the family, the cat and the dog and the budgie, by trying to flog them articles which skated around the issue, books which wouldn't even mention Armageddon? And we even went out and flogged old books which even had errors in it, just to get them out. I'm ashamed I did this. I really am now, looking back. The funny thing is, Armageddon reality, when you could become a Bible study and go all the way to baptism and not even understand Armageddon reality. There was somebody in Rutherglen. They had a Bible study with this twat of an elder, his wife. They came along, they got completely, utterly love-bombed. Fantastic, the kingdom all, brilliant, everybody, hello, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. The whole shenanigans, paradise, stroking a lion. It was fantastic, living forever in paradise. Who doesn't want that? The whole thing. They came in on their own, they got baptised, and literally within 2 months, boom, gone. The reason being, not because they'd returned to smoking or drinking, it's because Armageddon reality hit them. They suddenly realised that, see, their husband had been married to 30 years, who was completely not interested in the truth. At Armageddon, sorry, just because you go on to the meetings, doesn't mean he's going to survive. And see your daughter and your grandchildren, not a chance. Then Then the woman thought, shit, this isn't what I signed up to. I was signing up to this paradise. I didn't realise that my husband and my children and my grandchildren weren't going to make it either. She disappeared. And this is the thing. People are coming into Jehovah's Witnesses, just the whole paradise, blah, 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 and not realising, you know, how the core message is Armageddon reality. The death of billions. So that was us back then. At least we made an effort. At least we went to people's doors, even though our message was fudged. Even though we hid the truth of Armageddon reality, we still at least engaged people in conversation. We still did street work where we actually stopped people. Can I just show you Matthew 20? Okay. Can I just show? Okay. Can I just? Oh, some interest. Right. Let me just read you this. Can I give you a leaflet? Thank you. Can I give you a leaflet? Throws it away. Okay. Can I get watch time away? No. Can I just stop you? Yes. Okay. There you go. So in other words, we actually did engage people and stop people. What we should have been doing is stop people and say, saying to them, look, this may be your only opportunity to hear the importance of my message. But literally, if you don't listen to what I'm going to say is that you will die at Armageddon. What's Armageddon? You don't know. No, it's not a nuclear disaster. It's not Armageddon what you're thinking of. It's when God heaps destruction on this earth, and it will be worse than any nuclear bomb going off. Believe you me. That's what we should have been doing. But the Carters have taken it to a whole new level of being ineffective. They actually don't even stop anybody. They stand there and expect you to go to them. And even if you do go to them, they still won't tell you Armageddon reality. Where there should be just peace, there should be just literature, there's the posters aside showing people dying. So people go, well, what's this? Is this like eco-disaster? No, this is angelic disaster. This is what this is. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. So if you see Jehovah's Witnesses, if you see the Carters out there, go up to them. Because I'll be doing this next, because I've been thinking about this, and give them this illustration. Because sometimes you know how Jehovah's Witnesses love to give illustrations, because the people in the audience are too thick, allegedly, to understand the importance of their words without trying to make it, now it makes sense. So here's an illustration. Here we go. There's a country that has a king, that has a government. Unfortunately, the country is not landlocked, and it has wide open areas to the sea. There's earthquake activity out the sea, and they know it sometimes the big one is going to hit. Sometimes there's a huge tsunami going to hit this country, and if anybody is on the beach, wiped out. They don't know when the tsunami is going to come, they just know it is going to come. So what the king does, he says to his government, because he cares for his people, he loves his people, he doesn't want anybody to die in a tsunami, he wants them to have appropriate warning. So he asks his government to set up an appropriate warning system, that when there is any hint that there's a tsunami coming, that people are warned. So, all of a sudden, the early warnings go off. There's been some activity out at sea, and they know that the tsunami is due. Not too sure when, but it's due any time. So of course the early warning system goes into operation, and it goes something like this. Different people have different areas of the beach and the promenade to go and warn people. They've got to warn people, take evasive action now, otherwise you're going to die. We don't know when the tsunami is coming, it's definitely coming. It's just round the corner. So they drive down to the beach and park up an ice cream van on the prom. They stay inside the ice cream van, and on the side of the ice cream van, instead of big bold letters saying tsunami due, take evasive action otherwise you will die, they have a whole host of lovely pictures of lollipops. The lollipops are free, so people are walking past the ice cream. Occasionally they do stop. Nobody from the ice cream van comes out and says, hold on pal, I'd just like to warn you of the tsunami warning. Instead they stay inside their ice cream van with lollies given out for free. So people occasionally walk past and look at the picture of the lollies and go, can I have one of them? Yes you can. Give them a lolly. No warning about the tsunami. How much is it? It's free. Thank you very much. Carries on walking. Inside the wrapper of the lollipop is the warning of the tsunami that's about to come. The warning's there. Unfortunately, they've taken off the wrapper, they've put it in the bin, and they're licking the lolly. And this goes on and on till eventually the ice cream van leaves the prom and heads to the hills. The tsunami strikes. Everybody on the beach dies. They're gone. The king, when he hears of the huge death toll, cannot believe it. So he brings the people in who are supposed to be part of this warning work and says to them, I thought you were part of the early warning system. Yes, we were. So when you heard that the tsunami was coming and that the people on the beach were going to die, were in danger, did you go up and down that beach with loud hailers, with a portable PA system? Did you hand out lots of flyers saying, head to the hills right now, tsunami's coming, if you don't take evasive action you're going to die? Is that what you did? No. What did you do? Well, we parked up an ice cream van and we sold lollipops, and the warning message was in the inside sleeve of a lollipop. You kidding me on? No. How was that an appropriate way of warning? Well, don't blame me. Well, who do I blame? You blame your government. You mean I have to blame the governing body? Yes, you do. So there we have it. It's quite simple. The governing body set up by the king, Jesus or Jehovah, has asked these guys to warn the world. And their way of warning the world is for these guys to be stuck on the side, not actually telling them that, there's a tsunami coming, and that if they don't take appropriate action and listen to these guys, they're going to die. And that's it. That's why the method of carting by Jehovah's Witnesses is the most ineffectual method of warning, of life-saving work of all time. So if you ever see them in the street, they're probably dying to speak to you. Go and speak to them and give them that illustration and just see how they can wheedle themselves out of that, because they can't. And this method of allegedly warning people of their imminent death is so awful it beggars belief. I'll leave you with that. Anyway, have a great day wherever you are and what you're doing. And thanks for watching yet again. Bye bye.